Welcome to K Ready with Miss Amanda, and today we're talking about snails. You know, they say that snail mail is really slow. I think it's the way to go. Hello, it's Miss Amanda from the Allen County Library, and welcome to K Ready. Today we're talking about snails, and snails are very fascinating creatures that we have in our area. They like to live in garden beds, they like to live in the woods near logs, and different types of green things. I would challenge you, as our temperatures are beginning to get warmer, to take your children outside and try to find these little snails. Some are very tiny, like you can barely see them, and some are pretty large. The largest snails can be very, very, very large, and you'll find those in the saltwater areas mostly. So we're going to learn about snails today, and snails have a very fun word that they are called, and that is called mollusks. Can you say mollusk? Mollusk. And mollusk is a word that we use as a species name for our snail. Now, most snails live on land, but some do live in water, and those are those very large snails I was telling you about. They move very slowly, and they slide or they move slowly on what is called their foot. So this whole bottom area, like the underside, I would call the belly of the snail, is actually called the foot. How many feet do you have? 2. Well, the snail has 1, and that 1 foot is what it uses to slide across all the land that it travels on. It does leave a fun slime trail wherever it goes. So sometimes, especially in the morning, dew light, if you're out, you might see these slime trails around your sidewalks and your garden beds. Just know that there's been a snail around. All right, S is for snail. And S makes the S sound. Can you go S, S, S? Right, so S is for snail. What other words can you think of that begin with the letter S? What about stop or smile? We're fixing to plant seeds in the garden. And what else? What about snow could still fall? So there's lots of fun S words. I want you to try to think of some more this week when you're out and about in your house, maybe going to the store. There's another S word, and try to find those words that begin with the letter S. We are having in-house programs. We mentioned that last week. This week's Snail edition for our in-house programs are completely full. So there are no more spaces this week, but you can still register hopefully for the week after next, where we will be talking about leprechauns. Pre-registration is required for all programs at this time. After the Leprechaun Week, we're going to up our programs for K Ready to 3 programs a week in-house. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at 10, and we will also have our homeschool programs Tuesdays, Thursdays at 1. For more programming information, you need to visit our website at allencountylibrary.com, click on events, and you will see detailed descriptions of all of our programs. But for those who can't come to in-house programs, that's what this program here is for on your YouTube channel or your Facebook page. And it's just to show off some books that go along with our craft every week. The books I'm going to read this week during Story Hour are Escargot. It's by Dashka Slater. And if you don't know, escargot is French for snail. A lot of places, especially in France, they have delicacies that they eat, and they actually eat snails. Would you eat a snail? I'm not sure if I ever would. I'm not saying I would never eat a snail, but it would have to be a pretty dire situation, I would think. The next book we're going to talk about this week during programs is called Snail Crossing. It's by Corey Tabor. And as we talked about, snails move very slowly. So it might be important to put these crossing signs at the streets. Streets start with the letter S, where snails might cross over. So these books will go along with our craft this week. In your craft bag, if you cannot come to in-house programs, you're going to get the materials that you need this week. You're going to get a blue and a green and a orange rectangle. You're also going to get I'm calling this an oval. It's more of like an oblong egg shape, but I think I mentioned it as being oval. It's orange. And you're going to have 2 circles that are white. You're going to have a sheet of stickers. There should be 2 on that page. And your bag is going to have a pink cylinder. I have not quite got there yet on this one, but we'll do it together. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and make this into my cylinder that looks like yours. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna make these pieces look like this fun guy. So you have this pink cylinder in your bag, and the first thing we're going to do is get your oblong egg-shaped orange piece and fold it to where it's going to have folds that look like this. So the skinny side is going to be the tail. The more rounded side is going to be the head. So about, let's see, 2 inches down, you're going to make a fold towards the center of your shape. So it's going to look like this. You're going to fold this about 2 inches down towards the center of your oblong oval-like shape. The very end, about 1 inch in, you're going to fold it up again towards the center, but you want to make it stand straight up. You're going to make this stand straight up, and that is going to be the body of your snail. Okay? So to make this look more like a snail, you also have this piece that if you flip over, there's already 2 rectangles that are smaller drawn on it. Using your scissors, cut on those 2 lines to create 2 rectangles that are the same in size. You'll have a skinny one that you won't use. I want you to use the ones that will be the same once you put them over each other. They're the exact same size. We're going to glue these on either side of its head. We're learning a new word called antenna. An antenna just means that these are the little receptacles that stick out of the head of the snail, and their eyeballs are attached to these little receptacles that when you touch their little eyeballs, they kind of sink into their head again or into their antennas, and this is how they move around and see. So we're going to glue either rectangle to either side of the head of our snail. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on one part of the rectangle, and I'm gluing it on the inside so that you wouldn't see all the mess that we could create on the front. Take that glue off there, good. And then we'll do the same for this portion. A little glue will do. Make sure they're kind of even, and that will work out just fine. So we have the antennas, but we need to attach the eyes, and the eyes are going to be your 2 white circles. With a marker or a crayon that you have handy, I want you to make 2 smaller circles within the white circle to create the pupil of your eyeball. So just make a circle and then color it in so it looks something like that. We'll do this one together. So draw a circle in the middle like this, and then color it in, and you've just made a pupil for your snail's eye. These will be glued on to the ends. See, we have Sammy over here. He's keeping an eye on us. We're going to glue these to the ends of our rectangles, which will automatically make this little guy start to come to life. There's one eyeball, and we'll do the same with the second one, gluing it to the top of your rectangle. And there's 2. So Sammy's getting a friend. It's coming together. But let's go ahead and make Sammy's snail. Sammy's friend's snail shell. Try to say that 3 times fast. Okay, so this is the kind of tricky part. It's going to be the most tricky part of your whole project. And I've went ahead and created your cylinder for you. And you should have these little squares that are already pre-cut. I want your child to try to fold these in one at a time, going in order from left to right. And as they fold those over, it's going to create a base for your snail shell. This first shell is the most important one because it's going to be permanently connected to your snail's body. And that way, the other two shells that we create will be the ones that you can take in and out of, and it will be the fun part of it. All right, so I have got it looking kind of like that, and you're going to glue this to the body of the snail. It can go towards the head, it can go towards its tail. I think it would work best if it's somewhere in the middle. So, easy does it. This is going to be the most tricky part. Just put some glue in a circular motion. You don't have to fill it in because the inner part of this is not, there's nothing to attach it to. We just want to try to find a good area where these folds will stick to. So once you have the glue on there, stick your pink shell down, and then you're going to just lightly press on all those little squares that you made, and that's going to attach the first shell to the snail's body. And it should stick once you do that. Perfect, great job. All right, now we're going to make a cylinder using the blue rectangle. You're going to not fold it. You're going to make it touch and round, but you don't want it to fold. Cylinders are a circle shape, but they're three-dimensional and they don't have any folds. Once you have overlapped the two flaps, so one side to the other, and you have overlapped those, I have included a sticker sheet for you that's clear, so it shouldn't show up. And if it does, it's okay. And I want you to put your sticker on that fold where they're, or not a fold, but where they're meeting, and that's going to help secure your cylinder in place. You may have a little bit of overlap, and all you have to do is bend that over, and you have created a cylinder. That easy. And that cylinder should fit inside of the pink shell. Now let's make a tall cylinder using the green rectangle. Again, we're not going to fold. We're going to gently bend this until they meet. You will have about a half an inch to an inch of overlap. And again, you're going to use that sticker sheet. There should be two on there to secure one side to the other. And just gently press that on, making sure that it's nice and secure, and adding that to your shell. To add, last but not least, we're not sure if Sammy's friend is happy or sad. So I think it's time to draw on a face for our friend. And of course, I think all things should be happy. So I'm going to make a happy face for our snail. I'm not going to add a nose. I'm just going to add a fun little mouth with some little cheeks. And I think that will do just fine. What do you think? They're pretty sweet, aren't they? And I am so glad that you were able to come with us today for another edition of K-Ready. Make sure to stop by the library and pick up some books that go along with Snails this week if you have time. If not, we know that you're busy, and we get that. But we would love to see you. Try to sign up for in-house programs if you can. If you can't, join us virtually every week. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.